Well, hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Esposas Chismosas. We're doing something a little different. We're going to start theming our episodes from now on. We're going to try do a bit different this time, so instead of the usual sort of cheating, chisme, we're going to go for, I went for sort of strange and funny stories that are on Reddit. I picked quite a few that are very iconic Reddit stories that everyone will have heard about if they use Reddit. Well, mostly. Personally, my favourite is the first one. It's not often something makes me genuinely laugh out loud, but this one made me laugh out loud in the gym, in front of people, while I was reading it and doing my homework for the podcast. This one really made me laugh. It's very stupid. We're joined by a guest today. His name is Ignacio. Show everyone Ignacio.
So ugly.
Wow. I won Ignacio in a crane machine on the first try. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it was.
It was. It was very impressive. Okay.
No, they're Ignacio though.
Oh, that's true. We have a tiny one who's also a hammerhead shark. So the first story is my favourite. And I'm very excited to tell you this story.
Okay.
So, the title. This was posted on Relationship Advice, and it's also marked NSFW, which means not safe for work, and it's rated an 18, so if you're not 18, go away.
Rude.
I'm just trying to protect the children. Okay. So my 31 female, husband, 33 male, and I haven't been the same since he moaned something strange during sex. How do I approach this? Are you ready for the chisme?
Why is there people involved in this?
No, my 31 female, husband, 33 male.
Oh, okay. I hear different. Oops.
Are you ready for the chisme?
Yes.
Always
ready for chisme.
Throwaway account because people know we use Reddit and don't want them to know about our sex life. Valid. My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years now, and nothing like this has happened in our relationship before. We have always been very open with each other, as we both like to hash out problems before they escalate. One of the first things that drew me to him was his brutal honesty. We also have, or had, a pretty regular and healthy sex life, never having problems with infidelity or anything of a similar vein. In short, our relationship is more or less perfect. Until the other night. My husband and I were going at it when he said something pretty strange. Everything was normal until I heard him moan, "Hoobie doobie." Hoobie doobie. At first I thought that I had misheard him, but no. He completely froze and looked mortified. I was just confused. Mood ruined. I asked him about it, but all he did was take his pillow and leave. I knew he was going to sleep on the couch, which isn't something he's had to do since we first moved in together. Not gonna get into that. We spent the night apart, and in the morning went about our routines as normal. When he got home from work, I tried to bring it up, but he pretended not to hear me and kept watching TV. It's been a couple of days, and I haven't brought it up since. However, there's been an air of awkwardness between us, and I don't think we can truly move past this without discussing it. I was hoping he'd be the one to bring it up first, but that hasn't been the case. I don't know what hoobie doobie means. I have theories about maybe it being an anime character he enjoys watching that kind of stuff, but to me it doesn't sound like someone's name. If anyone knows what or who Hoobie Doobie is, or has any ideas on how to approach this with him, please let me know. Thank you.
What's Hooby Dooby?
Well, there is an update.
Okay.
And I do believe we find out what Hooby Dooby is. But just face value, what are your thoughts on the initial post?
You know when you say Hooby Dooby, I think about the song.
Hooby Dooby?
No. Booby Booby. It doesn't similar, come on.
Okay, for context, there was a post on TikTok about a woman who filmed her parrot or some other speaking bird singing a song that apparently her husband sang around the house, which is about boobs. Find that if you want to, it's very entertaining. Hooby Dooby, that killed me the first time I read it. Really, I think it was because I was visualizing it in my mind, and I was putting myself in that situation. I thought, what if that was us and you just said Hooby Dooby? I think I would lose my mind.
Yes.
Like, I would have a brain aneurysm if you said Hooby Dooby. I would absolutely lose it.
You prefer someone else's name or Hooby Dooby?
Well, I mean, if you say someone else's name, that kind of just feels like maybe you're cheating. So I guess Hooby Dooby, because at least that's funny. There's nothing funny about saying someone else's name.
Okay, got it.
Hooby Dooby. Hooby Dooby. Yeah, that would have killed. And I think what's even funnier is the fact he's completely refusing
To talk about.
to admit that it happened. Like, he's just,
Maybe he went to sleep out. So
the fact they were right in the middle of it, he did it and immediately got up, took his pillow, and went downstairs. Hilarious. That's even funnier to me. That's really, wow. Hooby Dooby. Do we have any guesses about what Hooby Dooby is about?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
Hooby Dooby. Sounds like how you say hooper.
What?
How you call the vacuum?
A Hoover?
Hooby Dooby.
No. Okay. Are you ready to find out what Hooby Dooby means?
Yes, please.
Okay. Update. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for all the helpful and funny comments. They showed me the humour in the situation. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. What is Hooby Dooby? Last night, after dinner, I sat down with my husband and brought it up. I reassured him that it was nothing to be embarrassed about and that I was just curious. He was reluctant to share at first, but it didn't take long for him to open up. For context, my husband is in a bowling league and he goes bowling with his friends every other week. While he does this, I stay home and have some of my girlfriends over, so I don't know much about what goes on. As it turns out, he's been thinking of bowling to stop himself from arriving early. So, like finishing too early during sex.
Mm-hmm.
And Hooby Dooby is his bowling catchphrase, which isn't something that I knew existed. I'm not sure what a bowling catchphrase is. Like when he scores a strike, he goes, "Oh, Hooby Dooby." I don't know what that means. That was a guess.
Okay.
I don't know what a bowling catchphrase is. At first I was surprised, but then it turned out to be hilarious, and we both laughed about it. Safe to say, I've never loved this man more. Also, it wasn't Hooby Dooby that compelled me to make this post. It was his reaction. I would never let the words Hooby Dooby ruin our wonderful marriage. Again, I can't thank you all enough for all the kind words. Hooby Dooby to all, and to all a good night. So that was it. No further updates or context or anything. It doesn't look like OP responded to any comments either. But this was hilarious to me. I don't know what a bowling catchphrase is. I don't know what that means. I didn't realize that men had to like think of things to stop themselves from like finishing too early during sex. But the fact that he thinks of bowling and he like weirdly conditioned himself to say "hooby dooby" because he was thinking about bowling. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Hooby dooby. I'm gonna try that tonight. When we go bowling. We're not going bowling. Yeah, I get why he's so embarrassed. It's a really funny thing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah.
But it's something that's like very innocent. I think it's funny that she was like, what if it's an anime character? Hooby dooby? It's very Japanese. I mean, I get the concern. I don't know how I would respond in such a situation. Because if it was like, initially, yes, it's funny. It's very strange. But then it was the way, like when she said it was the way he acted afterwards. That's what I think is funny.
Yeah.
Where she's like, he just left, like, immediately. And that's what makes it like, oh, is this something I should be concerned about? Or... Because, I mean, I feel like he could have played it off. And be like, oh, I was just messing with you, like... And then it could have been nothing. But he made it into a whole thing.
Yeah.
So, lesson learned, guys.
Hooby-dooby.
Lesson learned, hooby-dooby. Be honest with your spouses. We have one comment here.
Okay.
I mean, there was a lot of comments, but there was only one that was really worth sharing, which is your husband a sim? If you've ever played The Sims, it's that game where it's like you're a character, like human, and you can just do normal stuff that you would do as a human. Like, you control a player, and you like give them a job and whatever else, and they have this language called Simlish, which is the made-up language, and it just sounds like a load of rubbish. So when he said "hooby dooby," this person's like, is he a sim? Because that's what they sound like. So yeah, hooby dooby. That's a personal favourite of mine. And I will be enacting it into my vocabulary. And saying hooby dooby all the time.
No, thank you.
No?
That's weird.
Big no to the hooby dooby. Okay, next story. This one also comes from relationship advice.
Okay.
Now, this is kind of funny. It's also very alarming at the same time.
Okay.
My boyfriend, 20 male, wants me, 18 female, to say the N-word to him in bed. You know which N-word, right? The derogatory term for a black person.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish?
It's not in Spanish. It's the...
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, okay. Glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
When someone says the N-word, they mean that.
Okay. Do you know that?
Yeah. So me and this guy recently started dating, and we've been talking about what kind of stuff we're into. He's a pretty kinky guy, but what really got me was when he wanted me to call him the N-word, the full hard R, in a sexual context. I've been looking everywhere for an explanation for this, but I can't really find anything, so I've turned to asking here. I get what race play is, and him essentially wanting me to own him, but I just want to understand more. He's black, and I'm Vietnamese, not even white, so I don't get it, because, the slavery thing has nothing to do with me. Anyways, saying it would make me really uncomfortable, but I want to be able to fulfill what he wants, and I just don't know how to go about that, and again, I don't fully understand. I guess what I'm asking is, why would he want me to say this to him? I mean, this is... Yeah. I mean, I get, people have what they're into and stuff, but this is like... This is strange.
I mean, yes, it is.
I mean, I find it more weird that for her, the weird part is that she isn't white, she's Vietnamese. She's specifically like, well, why me?
Yeah.
Which is fair. I mean, it's very strange.
Yeah.
It's very strange. I think the concern for me is more the fact that he wants it, rather than the fact that he wants her specifically to do it. Because I imagine he probably wants all of his partners to do it.
Yeah.
If it's a thing that he's into. But I don't get why that would possibly be arousing.
You don't know how he feels. Maybe that's on his own.
Yep, I mean, I've heard of people that like being spoken down to in a sexual way, like being called names and stuff, and I'm like, I think that's weird enough. But something that's like racially motivated, that's more than just, calling someone a whore or a slut or something. That's like...
It's weird.
Yeah, this guy's... He's strange.
He is. Of course.
I didn't save any comments from this because nothing was like there wasn't any particularly good comments, but OP was saying in replies that, he's a really nice guy and, she sees a future with him and stuff like that. It's just this sort of one thing that's come up where she's like, ugh, don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
Which... I mean, begs the question, if you really like someone and there's just one thing about them that it just kind of throws you off a bit, is it worth keeping the relationship, or is this something that you can't handle?
Yeah.
Which is something only OP can decide, whether or not she's comfortable with it. I mean, me personally, if you told me that you wanted me to call you some sort of racist term for Latinos, I'd be like, what? I can't.
Like what?
I mean, I don't know. There are terms that people say. Well, no, because then I would be saying the slur. I'm not going to say that. But there are things that, people say. Like if you went, oh, tell me to go back to my own country and speak English, I'd be like, what? What?
Sarah?
I think it's strange. Not to shame anyone.
Yeah.
But it's weird, and I get why she thinks it's weird. And there's no update, so we don't know whether or not, I mean, this was a very recent story. So this was posted, today, like a couple hours ago.
Okay.
So maybe there'll be an update at some point.
Okay.
With sort of how she's dealing with it. I mean, she sounds very conflicted. She's saying it makes her really uncomfortable, but she wants to fulfill what he wants.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a bad stance to have, because it's like, just because your partner has this wish and you want to fulfill their needs, don't make yourself do something that makes you really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because both people should always be comfortable. So the fact that you're like, yeah, I'm really uncomfortable, but I want to fulfill his needs, I'd be like, if he really cares about her, then he'd be like, well, then no, let's not do that, because why would you want your partner to be really uncomfortable just to make you feel good?
Yep.
You know. But hopefully there'll be a resolution.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope she doesn't go along with it. I hope this man gets some help, because I think there's going to be something wrong with his sort of, like, self-respect and image of himself to find that attractive as a black man. Yeah. It's a very strange situation. So we're going to move on to the next one, which is a legendary Reddit story, which is definitely strange, definitely funny.
Okay.
I think you're going to like this one.
Okay.
So this was posted on Today I Fucked Up, I don't think we've read a story from that subreddit before.
I don't think so.
So it's basically just people posting sort of situations they're in or things that they've done where they're like, oh god, I really made a mess here. And they just want to sort of share the story. So, today I fucked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. It's as dumb as it sounds.
Wow.
Are you ready for the chisme?
Yes, please.
Let me tell you that I have made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who, let me tell you, is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her parents. I was very aghast, nervous, and bashful to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea slapped my mind that I should do a comic bit to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. I love the way this guy writes. Like, he sounds like a douchebag, but he writes in a really funny way. When I saw that baked potatoes were served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes was. That would be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So, first, when the potato became on my plate, I acted very interested. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but did not remark. So I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me, and the mother said, "It's a baked potato?" And I was saying, "Oh, interesting. A baked... what is it again?" And she was like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato? Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good." And then they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what is a potato. So I knew I would be very ashamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was to act as if it was not a joke, but I committed to the act of pretending I didn't know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I never heard of a potato. I went with it and told them yes, I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. This went on for a bit, and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my fucked up antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato is, was when them parents started thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point, he said something like, "Enough is enough, you're fucking with us, admit it." And I said, "Sir, before today, I never even heard of a potato. Still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise and said, "Tastes very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally, the father said I should get the fuck out of his house. And I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I never heard of a potato before. Well, let me tell you, he didn't take that kindly. Now in text messages, I've been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way I can ever get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is, I wish I never started it, but I can't go back. I think she will break up with me anyway.
That's crazy.
This is one of the most famous stories that has ever come from Reddit.
I guess you even read this story too.
Yeah, it's I love this story. I think it's insane.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those stories that it's like so stupid it has to be true.
Yeah.
But I mean, you never know, maybe it's not. But it's so specific as well. Like usually people go, "Oh, I'm posting from a burner account. I'm doing this, I'm doing that so people don't know it's me." But this situation is so specific.
Yeah.
That if the girlfriend ever sees it, she's going to be like, "I knew it."
I need to know something.
It's such a funny thing. Like the way that like
Actually, that could happen to me.
what do you mean?
You said go, you with your family, you bring a strange thing from England. Like, I don't know what's that.
I don't think we have strange things in England. That's just
I didn't know it was like the weird pudding
the pudding?
that you say all the time. What is the name?
A Yorkshire pudding?
No. The one you say you don't like. They use like for Christmas, I guess.
Christmas pudding?
It's
That?
like black.
Yeah. Well, like brownish, yeah. So they set it on fire. But Christmas pudding smells disgusting, and I have a trauma because when I was in, I think, year 11 in school, so I was like 15, like 14 or 15, my best friend at the time, she had a younger sister, she's like 3 years younger than us, and she somehow managed to, like, she put Christmas pudding in their microwave, and I don't know, like, it set on fire, she blew up their microwave, like, it was a whole thing. And all of their clothes smelled like burnt Christmas pudding. And I have a trauma for it. I can't smell Christmas, it was so bad. And my best friend, like, even her clothes, it reeked of Christmas pudding for, like, weeks. And it was awful. It was very painful. We sat next to each other in, like, a few lessons, and we spent all our break and lunchtime together. So it was just there, and I was like, I'm
Just for that?
The smell's bad. Like, I hate Christmas pudding. My mum likes it, but I don't think anyone else in my family even eats it. We always get a Christmas pudding every year, and the only one who ever has a bit is her. And she eats, like, well, it's kind of like a hemisphere, so it's like a half circle in shape, so she eats like 20% of it, and then the rest is just thrown away.
I never tried that, so.
Yeah, it's like I guess it's kind of like a cake thing, and it
You
has
don't
like,
like cake?
well, no, I don't, and it's got like fruits and stuff in it, and I don't think it's always made the same way. But I mean, sure, but I don't know if they have Christmas pudding in other places the way that we do. But this, like, extra to, like, an actual foodstuff, a potato, not like a combination of ingredients that's, like, part of a dish. This is just a potato.
Actually.
Because imagine if you met my
family
and you don't know what a potato is.
I'm gonna do that.
Or an onion, or...
I'm gonna do what is a potato. Potato!
So I'm going to meet your family and pretend I don't know what a sausage is. Yeah, try that one. See if it works. But no, I mean, this is so funny. My favourite part is where he says, become known to them as a person who is amusing. Like, you remember when he lied about not knowing what a potato is? How amusing is this man? Like, it's such a strange, like, goal to have when you're meeting your significant other's family. Oh, I want them to think I'm amusing. Usually you just want to make a good impression and have them think, oh, like, they're really nice and friendly, or whatever else. But he's like, no, I want them to think that I'm a comedian. You know? And this is like, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I didn't know what potatoes was.
That's crazy.
Why would that be very good?
I don't know.
It's so funny. And the fact that it got to the point where he was like, because they didn't get the joke initially, And then he committed to doing it more because he didn't want to explain that it was a joke. And he kept digging that hole deeper and deeper until he had to fully commit to saying that he didn't know what a potato is. That's so funny. That's so funny.
Tell me his updates.
No. This was a one and done. I mean, would you break up with this guy in this situation? Like, imagine, I recently met your family for the first time. Can you imagine if when we went out, I pretended I didn't know what a potato is and just refused to stop lying about it? And you all knew I was lying about it. How would you react?
If I knew you were lying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the girlfriend's going to know that he knows what a potato is. I mean, they must have gone out to eat and eat
I'd be like
chips and...
Potato, Kennedy, Kennedy, potato. And that's it.
If I fully committed to it, like, not now.
I don't think, like, my
Like,
family
in the
will,
early
like...
days when we first started dating.
Yeah, we'll be like, you know, my family won't be, like, fighting with you, like, trying to, like, you for real, be like, okay, no, you know what is a potato. Don't.
Well, you'd accept that I'd never even heard of a potato before.
Yeah, because I feel my family doesn't care, actually, so... They'd be like thinking, like, this idiot. But now you know what is a potato.
I mean, I guess we have the thing of, like, cultural ambiguity, where you can be like, oh, they're from a different place, maybe they don't really have that where they're from. If we're both from the same place, and, you know, lived in and grew up in the same culture with the same food, you'd be like...
Maybe their family doesn't eat potato.
Yeah, but pretending you don't know what it is, like you've never seen one.
I mean, I've been in situations that I've been with people and they're like, what's that? And it's a stupid shit, like, come on. So I guess I'm used to it. And then I think, like, what an idiot. And then I remember people come from different places, so I'm like, okay, maybe it's normal.
But a potato. Something that's, like, such a staple.
I didn't hear about sweet potatoes for a long time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's just a different kind of potato.
Yeah, but, like, I never knew about sweet potato, like, in Colombia. Maybe it exists, but maybe my mom never buy it, and I didn't know what was that. Like, for real, I didn't know what was a sweet potato. I mean, I'm not saying it's not there. I'm saying, like, I never hear about it. Until I was old, I'm like, oh, sweet potato. And I try, and like, okay, nice. But I never hear about it. Like, that's one of the things I can say.
But, you know, I feel like in this situation, from the way that he's telling the story, I bet it was probably very obvious that he was lying.
Yeah.
And just not letting go of the bit. Which is funny to a point.
Yeah.
But I feel like the girlfriend would be sort of justified in going, you know what? I don't think you're the kind of person for me. Like, I personally think it's funny. I don't know how I would deal with it if I was the partner in this situation, because I'd be like, I don't feel like you could have any type of relationship with my family now because they think you're an imbecile. Like, they think you're a straight up idiot. Like,
will you break out with me if I do that?
If you pretend you don't know what a potato is to my family.
Yeah. I'm going to do it, though.
Okay. Social we'll record it and we'll upload it. And we'll be like, guess what happened, everyone? Place your bets.
Actually, we should put some cameras whenever I'm with your family. Be like, potato!
Like, how you say
No, I'd be like, what's that?
Potato?
How you say it?
Potato.
Potato.
Yeah.
What's that? Wow. It tastes bad.
I mean, if my mum makes it, it will.
We need to go eat to a place that they serve potatoes and you order for me. So I don't have the chance to
it'll
order.
be really hard for you to find a baked potato in England.
Really? Oh, that was sarcastic. Then I remember whenever I go to a restaurant, it's a baked potato. I don't know why.
But actually, we say jacket potato.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I used to see these videos on TikTok of the, how you call it, jacket potato? That they put like beans and tuna and coleslaw. I'm like, ooh.
It's usually cheese and beans.
No, but it's like, it was a video like of people like Spot Bros or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's like a food truck.
Yeah,
I saw
food
when they
truck.
went viral, and yeah.
The people was actually doing a line for it. But it looks good, but not the tuna bar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
But
not
you don't
really...
like beans, so I don't think you will like it.
I don't like baked beans.
I know.
That's true. I don't like them.
So I don't think you will like
I
them.
also don't like fish. So...
Yeah, but it's something else that was like some Indian type of chicken. I forgot, like curry chicken on top.
That was probably tikka masala.
I don't know, but it was like
Chicken
the
tikka.
cheese, beans, butter. They ask you if you want garlic butter or normal butter.
Yeah.
And there's like tuna or coleslaw.
Yeah.
And people was doing live for that.
Yeah, it did go viral.
And it was the Spot Bros, and was another one, the guy that have the hair like up.
I don't know. But yeah, Brits love a jacket potato. That's very true.
Jacket potato.
But usually,
We should
if
try
you have,
that.
Tuna, it'll be like tuna mayonnaise.
Yeah, it was tuna mayonnaise, yeah.
But I've never heard of anyone putting tuna on beans.
Like,
That's...
let me see if I can find them.
Tuna and beans sounds like some sort of, like, food challenge where it's like, if you can eat this and not throw up, I'll
Well,
give
people
you
was
money.
actually ordering that. Yeah,
I can't abide by that.
Yeah, the Spot Bros. Yeah, look.
I like that you said look and then didn't show me.
I know, but this one was coleslaw. Wait, let me find the one with tuna.
I like when I say something a lot and then you start saying it the way I say it. Tuna.
Because you don't understand me when I say it different. Sorry guys, 1 second, trying to find the spot.
I mean, spud is a northern thing, I think. I don't know. They're from up north. I can hear the accent.
It's the chicken man and the
Oh, you know what it is? Because they're gym bros. They want tuna.
I don't think you've got enough. Yeah, I think it's alright.
That is like an entire tuna fish. Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna try to get a picture and I will post it in the video so you guys can see what is this.
Why do Spud Bros put...
No. I mean, it's probably the least British thing about me is the fact that I don't like baked beans. Or jacket potatoes, really. I mean, the cheese one is okay, but...
I like beans. The baked beans are good. With the breakfast.
For me, they're too sweet. I don't like them. I like black beans and stuff, but...
I like the English breakfast. With the
I don't.
ham, with the sausages, with the beans,
Ham?
with the black tea. What's the ham?
Bacon?
Bacon.
Bacon and ham and nuts.
Okay, whatever. It look like ham.
Okay.
And what is the name of the round thing that is black? That you say is blood?
Black pudding.
Black pudding.
Yeah. Same
I
way you
like
have the Colombian sausage that's blood, right?
Yeah.
Blood sausage. Yeah.
But it's different texture, but I like that. I like the English breakfast.
See, I prefer the Colombian.
You know what?
Perfect for
The
each
best
other.
part, like, every time I used to go to England, like, when the hotel include breakfast, because they always have the English breakfast.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. I was like,
Do you know what's really
free
funny?
English breakfast.
Is that there are places where there are a lot of British tourists, like Spain. If you go to touristy areas, they will always sell full Englishes. Because there's so many English people there, and it's like...
Oh.
But I find that really strange that you would go on holiday to another country and just eat the same food you eat at home.
I mean, I would not do that. I mean, I eat the English breakfast because I don't eat that here. And I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing my tour in all England, in all the places I went, there was English breakfast. I'm like, yes, I love English breakfast. I'm sorry. And I have English breakfast with my English woman. That would be perfect.
See, I like having bandeja paisa with my Colombian wife. That's even better.
Yeah.
On the subject of food, our next story. This is another Today I Fucked Up. This is another very iconic
Wasn't comments about the guy?
I mean, it's all the same stuff. There's nothing really that sticks out with the comments. Everyone's just talking about how hilarious it is. But this next story is a legendary Reddit story on the topic of food.
Got it.
Because we got so sidetracked with the last story. Today I fucked up by throwing my steak out a window. It's even funnier than it sounds. Are you ready for the chisme?
Yeah. I need to know this chisme.
This sounds like something I would do.
Throw a steak. How?
Context is everything. Last night, my wife's boss from her brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed and arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. I feel like this is the same guy from the last post, just like 5 years later. It's the same guy. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s, so it was just the three of us. I don't know why her age is relevant, but okay. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads and seemed to be really hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. This is definitely the same guy. Soon she brought out the main course, a nice, big, juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked this steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and fork, worrying about how I was going to get away with not eating this steak. Claim veganism? No, I'd already feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, our hostess excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at the open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return at any moment. I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand, gently shook off the juice, and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Here's the big-time fuck-up. The window wasn't open. It was the cleanest freaking window you've ever seen in your life. That is, until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare, and was unaware of my predicament, turned, jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look then slowly morphed into more of a "there is no place on this planet you can ever hide from me" expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud of the steak on window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, my empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but was probably 3 or 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, I'm so sorry. I am such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it, and it slipped. Just ask my wife. I really am a klutz. Right, honey? No help coming from that direction. I will clean this up. I can't believe this. I am so sorry. Etc., etc. Both women continued to stare at me like I had escaped from the loony bin, as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting, cold, chewy, bloody, raw steak. I remained pretty quiet for the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, "I'm fine." that's the end of the first post. There is a very small update afterwards. But initial thoughts?
He couldn't ask, hey, can you cook the steak a little bit more?
Yeah, I feel like it's a situation where, I mean, there are some things that you can't complain about, and there are some things that you can, and I think asking for your steak to be cooked a little more isn't a huge deal. Like, if we had someone over and we cooked for them and they were like, I'm really sorry, but I like it a bit more well done, I wouldn't be like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I mean, I get you're trying to make a good impression, because if I was in that situation, I would just eat the steak, and I would shut up, because I don't want to...
I wouldn't do it because I don't like steak raw.
I mean, I don't like it raw. I like medium rare, depending on the cut of meat.
Well, you can eat rare, I bet.
But, yeah, but this is like, he said this is more than, this is like blue. So, this is beyond
yeah,
that.
that's what I say. He can just ask, like, can you just...
Which would be too much even for me, but in that situation, I would feel so uncomfortable that I would just...
You know, you would
I
throw
would
it
just
through
eat
the
it.
window.
I mean, it would never occur to me to try and throw it out the window.
I just pretend maybe I'm sick.
I mean...
Because I've been doing that before.
I don't think, like, if I was on the other side of it, I wouldn't be offended if someone asked me to cook their steak a bit longer.
Yeah.
But as the person who's asking, I would feel really uncomfortable, so I get where he's coming from, but also...
Yeah, the way it is worse.
The train of thought that went from, this steak is really raw, to, I should throw it out the window. I don't know how he got between those two spots.
I just imagine him grabbing the steak, and the steak just sliding slowly.
Yeah, I want to visual. Like, is it like a straightforward? Is it a to the side sort of thing? I would want to know. But wow, this story is iconic for a reason. I love it. I think it's hilarious. How would you feel being the wife in this situation? Because there is a whole level of embarrassment. It's like, I have to see this woman every day at work. She's in charge of me, my salary, my standing in this company. Like, and my husband just threw a steak that she cooked onto the window. Not through, on.
And then you have to eat it.
I mean, as the wife, I would be mortified.
Yeah. I will kill you.
How would you feel if you were the boss?
What the fuck with this idiot?
I mean, here's the thing. Part of me would be pissed off because it's like, okay, now there's blood.
Yeah.
And stuff everywhere. And it's like, I'm like, is he okay? Like, the thing is, I would find it funny. There would be
But
like
she's
a lot of
not
different
an
parts of
adult
me.
woman, so...
Well,
Probably
that
that's
doesn't
why
mean
he
she doesn't have a
age.
sense of humour, you know, necessarily. But I think it's very funny. It doesn't sound like it went onto carpet or anything that couldn't be cleaned. Yeah. So I think if you know, she had like a light coloured carpet and you did that and you got all the steak juice and stuff all over it, then it's not as funny. Yeah. But it sounds like he tried to rectify the situation and he felt so bad about it that he did something so disgusting. He, first of all, ate the steak he thought was disgusting in the first place. After it then touched the window and then probably landed on the floor afterwards. And he still ate it. Yeah. That's enough for me to be like, you've been punished enough, I don't need to get mad at you, I think.
Yeah.
But there is a small update.
Okay.
So, just got the first post, I'm fine communication from my wife via text, who is at work. Good news, boss's name, and I just had a good laugh over how much of a fucking idiot you are. Hope you know you will never live this down. Love you, you moron. So it sounds like the boss had a very good sense of humour about it. So she's gone to work the next day, I assume the next day, and she's laughing about it with her boss in there. They're making jokes about it, and, you know, so they're laughing at the husband.
But you think he told the wife the truth? Like, he didn't let the say it, he just threw it out?
I mean, I imagine as soon as they left the apartment, he told her immediately, like, look, this steak. you know, but also, I mean, for the boss, you said that the wife's was a nice medium rare. Like, how do you mess up the steaks that... If you don't know how to cook steak, don't cook it for guests. You know? No offense to the boss or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he should have said something, I think.
Yeah.
And as long as you're, like, polite and apologetic.
You're like, where's the kitchen I cook?
Like, look, I'm really sorry to be a pain, but this steak's just a little... it's too undercooked for me. Would you mind just, you know... Or even be... Or yeah, offer to, like... If it's okay with... If I go and do it, would you rather me do that? Or you want to do it? Or, you know...
Yeah.
I don't think that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
But it's very funny, and I'm glad that they all had a good sense of humour about it. I mean, the wife was definitely mortified at first. But I think once probably the wife knew that the boss was okay with it and found it funny, she, you know... I don't think she had a problem with what actually happened if she found it funny afterwards. I think it's probably more that... It was probably the fear that the boss would be mad at her.
Yeah.
But it all went well. No further updates. And I would imagine they bring this up weekly, at least. I know I would never let it go.
Yeah.
So nice turnout there. Everyone's happy and laughing.
So I never mess up in front of my boss.
I'm gonna throw a steak at her on Thursday. Wednesday? Thursday? I'm gonna throw a steak at her. No, I'm not. The next story is also probably the most iconic story from Reddit that I've come across. It seems like everyone knows this one. I think the original post is no longer on Reddit, but it's been reposted and put up by other people.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the actual title of the original post, or this is just what it's become known by.
Okay.
I don't even know what what subreddit it's come off from. I don't think it's an Am I the Arsehole? I think it's like a, like True Off My Chest or something like that. The title of this post is Poop Knife. Poop Knife.
Like, and knife.
Like poop.
Like,
Business.
and like, knife.
Yes. Poop Knife. Okay. My family poops big. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. If anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. Growing up, this was a common enough occurrence that our family had a poop knife. It was an old rusty kitchen knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose. It was normal to walk through the hallway and have someone call out, "Hey, can you get me the poop knife?" I thought it was standard kit. You have your plunger, your toilet brush, and your poop knife. So they use it to break up yeah.
Oh my god, this one's disgusting.
Fast forward to 22. It's been a day or two between poops, and I'm over at my friend's house. My friend was the local dealer and always had guests over because you can't buy weed without sitting on your ass and sampling it for an hour. I excuse myself and lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one. So I crack the door and call out for my friend. He arrives, and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? Your poop knife, I say. I need to use it, please. What the fuck is a poop knife? Obviously he has one, but maybe he calls it by a more delicate name. A fecal cleaver? A dung divider? A guano glaive? I explain what it is I want and why I want it. He starts giggling. Then laughing. Then lots of people start laughing. It turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. It also turns out that none of them had poop knives. It was just my fucked up family with their fucked up bowels. Fuck my life.
Poop knife.
I told this to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. It turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rusty knife hanging in the utility closet as a basic utility knife. Thankfully, she didn't cook with it, but used it to open Amazon boxes. She will be getting her own utility knife now. She was using his poop knife to open her packages without knowing what the poop knife was. Which is strange, because if he uses the poop knife, surely he must have asked her for the poop knife. No, they put it in the utility closet. So I don't get how that's worked out in this.
So they go there and like, they shut the shit?
Yeah. Yeah. There was a comment where someone asked the OP why it was in like the laundry room. And he said that their laundry room was connected to like 3 different rooms. I guess, I don't know if he said 3 bathrooms or 3 other rooms. And it was like the central place where everyone could reach to get the poop knife if they needed it. So I guess that's the logic of putting it in like a utility space rather than in the bathroom. But yeah, poop knife is one of the most iconic, legendary, well-known Reddit stories, if not the most.
I never heard about that before.
I've heard it come around a few times. Poop knife is... yeah. Poop knife. Yeah, actually, story time. When I was probably, I don't know, 8, we were at my brother's godmother's house, who was the mother of my best friend who passed away when I was a kid.
Okay.
And my brother, he used their bathroom as a 9-year-old boy and clogged it. Unfortunately, they did not have a poop knife, so they went into the garden and got an actual stick, like a branch from a tree, and he had to use that to poop knife to unclog their toilet. As a 9-year-old boy, which is beyond alarming. I don't know what the hell a 9-year-old is doing in a bathroom that clogs the toilet. But he had some serious business going on as a 9-year-old. Now that he's 26, I can only imagine the horrors.
He might have a poop knife.
This might be my brother. No.
So you have a poop knife?
No.
Don't tell me it's the one we use in the kitchen.
No, I mean, this is very funny. It's very strange.
It is.
I think as the wife, I would be
You ever
a
have
bit
you have
traumatized.
any story like that you go to the toilet and you clog the?
No,
Never.
I've never clogged the toilet. I think probably when I was younger, I may have done it with like actual toilet paper. Because when I was young, I always used to be like
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
very
saying
paranoid about wiping and having something touch me, so I would use too much toilet paper. So I've probably done it with toilet paper as a kid, or maybe like using wipes, like the wet wipes. You're not supposed to flush those, but I probably did that.
You
when I
don't
was
remember
younger.
anything funny?
I've never clogged a toilet
Okay.
with actual, you know.
You clogged the one in the older apartment.
No. Not with that.
No, it does, but it happened.
Yeah, yeah, with paper. Yeah. I've never, like, genuinely clogged it from personal business.
I mean, I never do it with personal business, but...
Yeah, I've done it with paper, I've done it with, like, wet wipes.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's lesson learned. Never put wipes in the toilet and flush it, because it clogs. Don't do that. But yeah, this, as the wife, I would be traumatized to find out I had been touching a utility knife that my husband used to...
Cut business.
Yeah. That's gross. I hope they sanitize it afterwards. Or do you think he just does it and just hangs it back up?
Most probably.
I mean, he's a man, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also never having the discussion, just the assumption that everyone has a poop knife. Like, never discussing with, oh, by the way, I supplied the poop knife. Oh, you don't need to bring your poop knife, I brought my own. Like, there was no discussion ever. You know, usually when people move in and they're like, oh, we don't need to buy this because I already have one, I can bring it with me. Like, he never did that with the poop knife. Like, oh, we don't need to buy a new poop knife. I have my own, it's fine. Like, just assumed everyone had a poop knife.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a very funny story.
Poop knife.
Poop knife.
That's insane.
So, final story here.
Okay.
Another legendary Reddit story. That was originally posted on Today I Fucked Up.
Okay.
I think it's been deleted now. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it appeared on Best of Reddit Updates.
Okay.
Where the whole thing was uploaded together with like comments and everything else. So, Today I Fucked Up. My 20 female girlfriend of 2 years told me the music that I, 25 male, play during sex is weird and a major turn-off. Sorry, I was sometimes with Reddit, when there's a big age gap and they said they've been together for a while, you have to do the maths to see if they were committing a crime. I was like, 18 and 23? Okay. Not illegal, but also I don't like that.
You're older than me.
Yeah, okay, but you're 23. Would you date an 18-year-old? That's a teenager.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So, are you ready for the chisme?
Yes.
A little backstory. When I first started having sex, I researched into ways to be better as I was a little stiff and pretty much had no idea what I was doing.
No.
I read online that you can play music and match the rhythm in order to put on a better performance. I searched love-making songs and started slowly creating a playlist in which I was comfortable matching the rhythm. There are a few songs to my playlist, however there is one song in particular, which actually happens to be my favourite, that my girlfriend hates and says turns her off in a major way. I don't understand why it has taken her 2 years to tell me she hates that song. It's a good love-making song with good rhythm. I feel the way I fucked up is I could have possibly asked her previously if she likes the playlist or any song she'd like to add or change. But to leave it 2 years thinking our sex life is great but in her eyes has just been ruined by my music has left the whole situation feeling awkward and I'm a bit annoyed. I pretty much played this tune every single time, so the amount of time she must have not been enjoying it when I thought the complete opposite is annoying, but also embarrassing in ways. Not to mention my previous partners, however, they never complained about the song, so maybe it's just her. It's fucked up the relationship, to be honest, because sex feels awkward now. The other day we were having sex with no music, but I was still thrusting to the tune playing in my head. She recognized this and asked me to stop. I thought this song was perfect, and I always thrust along with the tune and feel it gives me the perfect rhythm for doing the deed, too. I usually bust to this song and find it devastating she hates the song. So that was the initial post. Now for me, I'm thinking like, okay, it's weird. To have like a few, so this guy listens to the same like 3 songs on repeat every time he has sex, and it's mostly this one song. Now bear in mind, this original post, he didn't say what the song was. We find that out later, which I will be playing for you to hear and for the audience.
Okay.
Once we get to the end of the post.
Okay.
But I do find it weird that he's been doing it the whole time. Because he's been doing it with people that he was with before her.
Yeah.
And it bothers her, but she hasn't mentioned it in 2 years. At that point, it's your own fault. Yes, he's weird. He's very weird for doing this. I mean, it's good that he found a way to make himself more comfortable with, like, his performance and, fine. But it's a weird way to do it, but it works for him. But for her, if you have a problem... I mean, maybe she didn't have a problem with it at first. I mean, I know what the song is, and I would have had a problem with it immediately. But I would imagine after every single time, like over and over, it would drive you nuts within like a week.
Yeah.
So how she's left this for 2 years, it's her own fault. I mean, this is a today. It's not an am I the arsehole. So I'm not saying anyone's the arsehole. But she's 100% at fault for this, for not communicating this problem sooner. And I actually feel bad for him, because it's like, he's tried to put in the effort to be better, which a lot of men don't do sexually.
Yeah.
They usually like, oh, whatever. So the fact that he's like putting it, I mean, he's done it in a very strange way.
Yes.
But, the fact that she wouldn't bring this up to him and communicate about it, I feel like he has the right to be a bit pissed.
Yeah.
That, you think that your partner's enjoying your love life, and then you find out, oh no, actually she's very turned off all the time because of this song, which actually helps me, Yeah. It's a very inconvenient situation. I actually feel bad for the guy. Communication, especially when it comes to sex. I mean, for everything, but sex as well, like, it's such a huge thing in a relationship to communicate about that stuff, and the fact that this bothered her for 2 years and she said nothing. Like, not even just being like, oh, can we just, like, listen to something else, or not listen to it? Like, not doing that for 2 years, that's your own fault. At that point, it's...
I mean, it's funny that she even recognized it without the music.
That killed me the first time I heard this story. Like, she knew from the rhythm. She knew immediately.
Yeah.
And there's such a debate with this song as well, like, what part of the song he's talking about. Because there's, like, a sort of, like, bass underneath, and then there's, like, an extra sound. And the people are like, is he doing it to this sound, or is he doing it to this sound? That goes, like, throughout the song.
Yeah.
Which is... it's funny. Which is why the whole thing blew up, is because of the song. Because this is not... it's because he said he like love-making songs. This is not where he found that song. I cannot think of anything less sexy to listen to when you're in the bedroom. I can't wait to show it to you. But for now, we'll go to the update.
Okay.
So... today I fucked up posting on Reddit about our sex life with Seabat, which is the name of the song, or the artist, one of the two, and now our relationship has ended. Okay, this exploded more than I expected, and has been a bit overwhelming with the messages, but thought I'd give an update. The attention hasn't been exactly positive, and this hasn't been the best thing to happen for my relationship, and now it's sadly ended. I didn't expect it to blow up so much. I should have used an anonymous name instead of my real name and our real ages. There aren't many 25-year-old Tyler lives who are in a relationship with their SO for 2 years who is 20. Unfortunately, her younger sister recognized this and showed her parents, who weren't at all happy, and made the situation extremely awkward. What made it more awkward and cemented the fact that it was me is that they recognized the song. He had sex with her parents. Once at a family dinner, we were discussing music tastes, and my ex-girlfriend stated that I have an odd taste in music. Everyone laughed and pressed me to play something from my phone of what I like as music, to which I then blessed their ears with Seabat. Her father laughed and said it was terrible. I guess we all have different tastes. Although I nodded in agreement at the time, I was thinking in my head that this is a great fucking song. We are over now, and I'm moving on. I already revealed my face on TikTok, but with the amount of hate I originally got, I decided to say I didn't have it and backtracked. I don't think the song is that bad, and I had no idea she didn't like it until recently, and as soon as I did, I stopped. I didn't force her CBAT. Not all can handle CBAT. I know it's different. I know a lot have asked for my face reveal and playlist. My playlist I've actually burned onto a CD and have been using my CD player. But I'll go on YouTube and try to link all the songs in one playlist and share. I'll also leave my TikTok and playlist in my bio now. Most probably seeing me before I backtracked from the hate. That's the final update.
Yeah, but it's crazy because the woman never said anything, so it's actually not the guy's fault.
No, I do think he's a little strange for this.
I mean, I know, probably people have different...
Yeah, this is probably, like, one of the only things that, like, gave him confidence. It was, like, finding the one thing he found that worked with helping him in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate that this is something that, you know, I don't think any woman can probably handle listening to that song over and over again every
I
time
want to
you
hear
have
the
sex.
song.
You want to hear the song? Okay.
Yes, please. Just really close to the microphone.
I don't want to play it too loud.
Yeah.
There's a bit of an intro before it gets to the part that he must be using. So this is CBAT by
I don't know who's that.
a guy called Hudson Hawk. So when the music drops, that will be the part that he follows the rhythm of. There's a bit of an intro at first. It's now. And he plays this over and over while they have sex. It's awful. So they're saying that they don't know if he goes the rhythm of the thing underneath, or like that. No
He'd
one
be like, dun, dun, dun.
so no one knows if it's like the beat underneath,
Yeah.
or if it's that part. And he never specifies, ever. And it's one of
Oh, yeah,
Reddit's
yeah.
greatest mysteries. I like to think it's the sound. I cannot think of an unsexier song to listen to in the bedroom.
It's weird.
Like like sexy, lovemaking, romantic music. And this is what... First of all, the dad's right. That is a shit song. It's so bad. It's just sound, right? It's just noises. But even worse in the context of sex. I personally would feel like, if I was in this girl's situation, I would feel like I'm enduring some form of, like, Chinese water torture. I would feel like I'm a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay. Like, this is actual torture. This is, like, Abu Ghraib level of torture.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It is horrible.
Like, every single time you have sex for 2 years, you have to listen to that?
That's horrible.
You actually couldn't pay me money to have sex while that song's playing. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And the best thing about this, why I think it got so much traction, is the big debate about what rhythm in the song he's doing it to. Whether it's like the weird sound or the beat underneath. No one can agree, and he never specifies. Never once does he clarify what part of the song he's following. And I think that's why everyone loves it so much, because it's like a mystery.
Yeah.
And what really sucks is that I always wanted a post from the girlfriend on Reddit and her side of the story, but we never
You
get
say
that.
if you post something on TikTok, at least we go to TikTok. Maybe she say something about
No, on TikTok he was talking about the music and a face reveal,
Yeah.
which I don't think is particularly relevant. I mean, I don't care what the guy looks like. I don't care if you're the ugliest person on the earth or the most attractive person on the earth.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes, horrible.
Don't do that. And do you know what? It's funny at first when she's like, oh, she recognised the rhythm. But if he was doing that and you were having it for 2 years, I think he would recognise it.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's funny anyway. But the story is funny of its own merit. and then you listen to the song, and it's a million times funnier.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're thinking in your head, what kind of, nice R&B, romantic, sexy song is this?
Yeah, that was something romantic.
Holy shit. That's the worst. That's the worst thing I can imagine listening to.
Yeah.
It's bad. Because, at first you're on his side and you're like, I feel bad for him, this thing helped him out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
This girlfriend was being tortured for 2 years.
Yes.
This is like a CIA-deduced torture method. I mean, wow.
I wonder what is the rest of the playlist.
I mean...
You have the rest of the playlist?
No, I don't. Let me see.
All of them is that bad.
Hold on. Let me... If you just type in CBAT, it will come up with the story, I think. It's on a subreddit called the Museum of Reddit, which is like an archive of the most famous posts in Reddit.
Let's see.
So let me... Hold on. So the repost on the guy's profile. Let me look at the guy's profile. I mean, it's a lot of posts about CBAT. Well, no, he was supposed to share the post TikTok and playlist in my bio. It's not on there anymore. But let me go to TikTok and put the account name in it.
Show me. Show me the account name.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna look it up.
I kind of found it.
So. Oh no, he's English. He's from Bristol. That makes sense.
Show me.
I don't know if it's on there anymore. No, I don't think his face is on there anymore. Yeah, it's just people posting about the guy in the Reddit story.
What's the name? Again, I wanted to find it.
No, someone tagged his account and it's not there anymore, so he must have deleted it again.
Oh.
I don't think you can find it
How long
anymore.
was that?
That was from 2022. Well, no, the one that I just watched where it's gone now. Although it says 5 years on it, but I don't know if that was... So, 2 years ago, he posted, an update on the thing. So I think this story's from about 2 years ago. Like 2-3 years ago, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I mean, literally everyone's commenting underneath that they are crying with laughter listening to the song after reading this story. Yeah, so it looks like it all happened with the update and everything 2 years ago. The guy hasn't posted anything else on his profile or anything. The TikTok account is gone.
So sad.
Yeah.
I didn't find it either.
So, I mean, he said the first time he got rid of it because people were saying stuff, so he backtracked and got rid of it, so I guess it probably happened again.
It got worse.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's saying, like, they're making TikToks about reading the story and saying, after they saw the face reveal, and they're saying, oh, he looked exactly how I imagined him to look, which, to me, that comes off in, like, a sort of mean way.
I don't imagine anything.
Yeah, me neither. But to me, that to me sounds like they mean it in a negative way. They're saying, oh, you know, which I imagine he probably got a lot of, and he got rid of it again.
Yeah.
So maybe the YouTube is still there, just for investigative purposes.
Maybe I will investigate that and we update in the next episode.
So, okay, so he got rid of the playlist, but someone else made his playlist and titled it.
Okay.
That can't be real. So it's a lot of like weird, like the song we heard. It seems like it's similar, like electronic, weird music, and also Soldier Boy. And not even the well-known Soldier Boy song.
Play that.
And there's 15 videos, and there's 3 that aren't available. So the videos have been deleted.
Okay.
So I think the first one is Seabat. And it looks like it's like a lot of weird EDM and some other stuff. You know, we'll play a little to round off this episode.
Yeah.
I will play a bit of each one. I want to know which part he's doing it to. The next song.
That's weird. He was like a level
He's having sex in the nightclub from Blade. I don't know what the hell this is. This is so unsexy. Like he's saying he searched music for like sex, and this is...
That's weird.
Soldier Boy is so funny.
This is getting worse. It's gonna be real.
This is an ad. But this would probably be the best song on the... Yes.
Poor woman.
And he's supposed to be following the rhythm of all these songs.
That's what I say, poor woman.
This is getting worse. Oh, this is different from the same guy who made Seabat.
I don't know.
There's one more.
Like Donald Trump.
When he made his first million. There was 3 more, but they're not available on YouTube anymore. That was painful.
Yes. I got headache with that.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Wow.
That was deep.
I like the one that Seabat is the one that really stood out, because the whole thing is horrendous.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna say, like, this one is not that bad compared to the other ones. I look like Donald Trump.
I mean, that's such a weird combination of, like, weird EDM style, you know, with Soldier Boy. I mean, yeah. I don't know how someone from Bristol gets into Soldier Boy. That's hilarious. Soldier Boy, I don't know if you remember the song Crank That came out like 20 years ago. Very, very famous. He didn't really... Oh no, Kiss Me Through the Phone was kind of famous. But that, yeah, that was a long time ago. Very irrelevant, other than those two songs, really.
Yeah.
So the fact that he has these very unknown, terrible songs on YouTube that some guy from Bristol has heard is so funny. Yeah, the whole thing's a disaster.
It is.
And initially I did feel bad for him, but I actually think he has subjected this woman to, like, CIA levels of torture.
Yeah.
She deserves a Purple Heart. This girl needs a medal. I think she should, like, sue him. I think she should sue him for pain and suffering.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It is really bad.
It's really bad.
Yes. It's horrible.
Yeah. I can't imagine anything worse.
I'm gonna play the song tonight.
Yeah. I want a divorce.
Excuse me?
If you played Seabat, yeah. Or Soldier Boy. I look like Donald Trump. Yeah.
Boring.
Well. Well, that was the final story for tonight on our strange, funny stories theme. I haven't decided on the next theme yet, but we'll go through Reddit and stuff and save stories, and, you know, if we see a theme that's sticking out, then, you know, we can go for that.
Yeah.
But it'll be a surprise for you guys when you listen. It'll also be a surprise for you, because I'm the one that gets all the stories.
Yes.
I like to keep her reactions authentic. So that's all for episode 3. Our strange and funny stories themed episode. And hopefully you guys will be joining us for the next one, when we have a new theme for you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Until next chisme.
The next chisme.